Hello. My name is Charles Webster Baer, and I'm here in Bend, Oregon, USA. And today is February 20th, 2021, and my website is globalinternetgovernment.com. And today I want to talk about a few things, including depopulationism. So let's talk about depopulationism. Depopulationism is an idea that was created by the Chinese government in the 1980s. And depopulationists, like myself, feel that we'd like to create a significant and immediate and sustained decline in the human population on Earth. And that would allow the number of people on Earth to arrive at a sustainable level, which is a number for future generations to determine, but I'm going to go ahead and guess it's around 2 or 3 billion people. And this would give the environment an opportunity to heal, and this would allow for more trees to grow back on the planet. And then in the future, when people want to breathe oxygen, there'll be enough trees to create enough oxygen for people to breathe, and we won't all suffocate to death. And that's a good thing. So depopulationism means that it's illegal and immoral for anybody on the planet in this millennium to reproduce a second time. Because depopulationists feel that human beings do not have the right to kill the planet, and we don't have the right to threaten the planet. But that's what we're doing, and it's wrong, and we need to stop. Because the number of people on the planet is over 7 billion, and it's increasing, and that's the wrong direction. And we need to make it be decreasing, because that's the right direction. Because right now, we're on a suicide course, so we need to change course. So that's depopulationism. It's actually very simple and very easy. There's enough people on the planet, so we don't need to make more. And there might be too many people on the planet, which means we're past the point of no return. But depopulationists want to play it safe and back away from the cliff. And so that's what we're going to do. Hopefully. Environmentalists are people who want to save the planet, but they're too stupid to know how to do that. And or they don't have the guts to stand up for it and say what's going on. Depopulationists are people who are actually saving the planet. Environmentalists are people who talk about it, but depopulationists are people who are actually doing it. And that's depopulationism. I became a depopulationist in 1985. So I've been talking about this now for about 37 years. So I've actually gotten pretty good at it, I think. And when I talk about it, I'm very calm and polite. And, I think I could break it down pretty smooth at this point. So that's depopulationism. It's really the only relevant issue facing humanity this millennium. It's really the only topic that matters. And the Chinese have been doing it for 40 years, and now it's time for the rest of the planet to do it. Okay, depopulationists are part of the solution. Non-depopulationists are part of the problem. So it's time for people who are too stupid to know what's going on. It's time for those people to get smart. And so that's what I'm attempting to do, is to educate those of you who haven't quite figured all this stuff out yet. You're welcome. So that's depopulationism. And it's really the new religion. It's really the number one priority. It's the goal. It's the only rational and fair way to save the planet. So that's depopulationism. And how do we accomplish this goal? How do we promote depopulationism? How do we move the depopulationism agenda forward? Well, one way is talking about it, like I'm doing now, and like you may be capable of doing soon. And that's good. And that's good. And it's good to be good. But is there something else we can do besides writing a letter to the editor? The answer is yes. The answer is gig. The answer is global internet government. And that's my website. I created gig in the year 2000 in Portland, Oregon. And I created gig to, advance the depopulationism movement. So, gig is the world government. Gig is the world government. And gig is going to unite the world politically and economically. Gig is a social media platform and a media outlet, and gig is going to give all people a platform and an opportunity to participate in and contribute to the world government. And gig is going to be able to provide all people with information in an easily accessible way about how they relate to the world government, how their community relates to the world government. Gig is going to unite the world politically and economically. Gig's going to unite the world politically with freedom and democracy and reproductive rights. And reproductive rights means that all people on Earth have the right to total and free access to all forms of birth control, including abortion. Any government that does not completely agree with this is an illegitimate government. Illegitimate governments will be replaced quickly and peacefully by legitimate governments. Gig's also going to unite the world financially with transparency and balanced budget amendments and trade agreements. And gig's going to monitor every financial transaction by every government on Earth. And gig's going to put every financial transaction by every government on Earth online immediately so that everybody can see where all the money's going, who's getting it, how they got it, how much they got, what they did with it, when they got it, where it went. And that's total transparency for all governments on the planet Earth. So GIG is going to work with the United Nations and the International Monetary Fund to unite the world politically and economically. And that's GIG, the world government. So depopulationism is the #1 issue here. And I've been talking about that for 37 years. And GIG is the #2 issue. I've been talking about that for 21 years. So the #3 issue is cash. Cash money. Cash money, baby. Some say it's the #1 issue, and they may be right. But today we're going to call it the #3 issue. Money. Just dropped my coffee. Okay. Oh, that's okay. I can get more coffee. Cash, money. Okay. So issue #3 is Fogbank. Fogbank is my cyber currency that I created in 2019. And, right. So I created a cyber currency in 2019 and I called it Fogbank. Okay, and Fogbank has a unit of currency called the Fogbuck, F-O-G-B-U-K, plural Fogbucks, F-O-G-B-U-X. That's the unit of currency for my cyber currency, Fogbank, is a Fogbuck. Now anybody, anywhere can buy as many Fogbucks as they want for 1 penny each. Now the value of a Fogbuck is 0. Nothing. Zip. Zilch. Bubkus. Nada. That's the value of a Fogbuck. However, ideally, hopefully, that value will increase. It can't decrease. And if that happens, then the value of a Fogbuck will be more than 0. Can't be less than 0. And then it will fluctuate up and down, which is the nature of all currencies, especially cyber currencies. Now there's also something called a Fogbick, F-O-G-B-I-K, plural Fogbics, F-O-G-B-I-X. Now the value of a Fogbick and a Fogbuck is always the same. The value of a Fogbick and a Fogbuck is always identical, always. And I'm going to give everybody on the planet 10,000 Fogbicks right now. You're welcome. Now, a Fogbank reserves the right to suspend and or terminate any Fogbick at any time for any reason, including no reason at all. However, if you have a Fogbuck, it's yours forever until you spend it or give it away. Now, Fogbank is totally transparent. Every Fogbuck has an individual unique Fogbuck number. Every Fogbick has an individual unique Fogbick number. Every Fogbank user has an individual unique Fogbank user number. And every Fogbank transaction has an individual unique Fogbank transaction number. So every single unit of currency at Fogbank is totally transparent, and anybody can see where all the money is at all times and the entire history of that money. And there's also a ceiling and a floor. You can't own more than 1 trillion American dollars worth of fog bucks. And if you have less than 10 fog bics, you'll be given 10 fog bics a week as long as you have less than 10 fog bics. So there's a ceiling and a floor. So we've now established a gap as opposed to no gap, infinite. Right now it's infinite, but Fogbank has established a non-infinite, a finite gap. And we're going to shrink that gap real slow. We're going to lower the ceiling real slow, and we're going to raise the floor real slow as circumstances warrant. We may speed that up a little bit, who knows. Now, as you may have already guessed, I am the total 100% owner, president, CEO, and sole employee of both Gig and Fogbank. Gig and Fogbank are two totally separate entities. And I will always own both of those entities 100%. And I will always run both of those entities 100%. And those entities will always be totally separate 100%. However, there will come a day, unfortunately, when I'm not around anymore. And I will say bye-bye, and I will go away. Sad but true. When that day comes, Fogbank and Gig will merge to become one entity, and that entity will become an international nonprofit. Okay? And it will be run by the capital. And the capital will be a group of representatives. Right now, those representatives will be advisors. And those representatives will stay advisors. And when I'm dead, they'll stop being advisors and they'll start running the show. Every nation will be given one advisor. And every nation will have X number of advisors. One advisor for every 10 million people in that country. And the number of advisors will always be an odd number. I don't want any ties. This will be a democratic process, majority rules. And it's called the capital. And it's effective immediately as an advisory committee. And when I'm dead, Fogbank and Gig will merge, and the capital will stop being an advisory committee, and they'll run the whole show as an international nonprofit. Now, I could, sit here and ramble on endlessly about myself and the universe, and I've done that in the past, and I'll do that in the future. But for some reason, maybe the fact that my battery's almost dead, I've decided to end this video now and go get some more coffee with cream, just a little bit of cream and some nutmeg. And, I want it to be decaf, but I don't want to, make a big hassle, so I just say, just give me coffee. I should be saying, give me decaf, but I just don't want to make a big freak show out of it, so I'm just like, I'll just take coffee. I guess you could call that a first world problem. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. And please make your own video where you talk about these subjects and you talk about these issues and you give everybody your own opinion of what the hell's going on. And you get politically involved and you get environmentally involved, you know. And then we can all run around and scream and shout and throw things at each other. It's fantastic. All right, I'm out of here. Goodbye.